Testing, 1 2 1 2. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of As the Sports World Burns. I am Tony Burns, 30-year veteran covering high school sports. I'm here to talk sports and other things using old school knowledge with a new school perspective. It's been a busy week in South Arkansas, high school level. But let's start. One thing that's been on my mind this week, and I'm a little late with it, to be honest with you, but I'm not a big Winter Olympics guy. But I couldn't help but notice the figure skating controversy. The young Russian, 15-year-old Russian, Kamila Valieva, the favorite to win the gold medal in figure skating, singles figure skating. And she was tested positive for a banned substance. And that's been the controversy. She eventually competed, but she finished fourth, fell a couple of times. Understandable. The pressure she was under, 15 years old. It was the controversy was should she have been competing in the first place after she tested positive? And the answer is obviously no. She shouldn't have been competing. They didn't have proof of it. They were still investigating, and she denied it. And so they I think they were kind of caught a little bit. She's 15 years old. She's a child. There's no way anyone believes a 15-year-old is going to prescribe illegal medication for herself in order to cheat. So someone obviously gave her the banned substance, and so it's kind of it's a ticklish situation, a touchy situation. I did not like how some of the Americans, commentators and fans or whoever, kind of took their anger out on the child. I don't think, blame Russia. Russia cheats. They're known for cheating. That's why they don't have a Russian team. It's the Russian Olympic Committee team or whatever. And they cheat in the summer. They cheat in the winter. If there was a spring Olympics, they would cheat in that. They cheat. But to just paint the entire nation of athletes as cheaters, I don't think it's fair. I think a lot of it, the coaches and the people are pressured to win, and they're giving these athletes stuff that sometimes I bet these athletes don't even know they're taking. And so I really feel bad for a lot of the athletes over there, especially in this case. Like I said, I don't know a lot about figure skating, but when the thing started, they were talking about this girl being a phenom and just incredible. And so I actually watched it, and I have to admit, she looked way different from everybody else. I was like, oh my God, this girl's pretty good. And so then to come back with a positive drug test, it really makes you feel bad about it. One thing about the American sprinter, Shikari Richardson, who missed out on the Summer Olympics after she tested positive for marijuana before the Olympic trials. Her story was her mom had passed away, and she said she was taking marijuana to ease the pain and all that. I've never smoked marijuana, so I have no idea if that's what it does. But that was her reasoning. But now she came out and she said, "Well, why does this young girl get to compete, but I didn't get to compete after my positive drug test? What's the difference?" And then she kind of hinted that it was about race. And as a black man, I'm very sensitive to racial inequality and all that. I really don't think the race card can be played in this instance. The difference, Ms. Richardson, is you're an adult who knowingly took a banned substance. You admitted you knowingly took a banned substance. Whereas the Russian young lady is a 15-year-old child who was most likely given a banned substance. So there's that, plus the fact that uh, the Russian young lady's case is still being investigated. Um, which I mean, I would assume she's going to come back guilty. Her reasoning was it's a heart medication that the Russian girl ended up taking that supposedly gives you it helps with your endurance, probably during training, which may help her train a little longer, maybe. Um, but she said she got it from her grandfather because 15-year-olds don't take heart medication. So that's the excuse. I don't know, and who knows if that's going to hold up? It seemed a little kind of sketchy. I'm sure it's something they told the Russian people told her to say. But anyway, but it is a difference. There's some doubt in hers, whereas in Miss Richardson's case there was no doubt, and it was smoking marijuana uh, before the Olympic trials. It's just you're an adult. Don't compare yourself. Don't say the race card for when it's applicable. It's not in this case. On the obviously in the Winter Olympics, I don't follow them that much. I follow the stars. Michaela Schifrin had a terrible Olympics. She's supposed to win 3 or 4 golds, and she may not win any. She only finished like 2 races in downhill skiing. I should tell the sport, I guess. But after each race, she talks to the reporters, and she's very honest and open. So she didn't win any medals, but she's looked like a world-class champion, even in defeat. So props to her. And I'll be honest with you, I don't follow any of the other stuff. So there's that. On a local level, just tonight, as a matter of fact, El Dorado wrestler, high school wrestler Dante Maker, finished as a state runner-up in Class 5A in the state meet in the 195-pound division. He lost in the second overtime to a wrestler from Van Buren. And he's been wrestling for 2 years. El Dorado's had a wrestling program for 2 years. So for them to have a wrestler make it to the state championship match is amazing. And this young man's a junior, so he should be back next year. Talked to him. He was devastated that he lost. They thought some controversy off the record. El Dorado people thought he got screwed. He had to throw late in the match in the third period. There was should have been awarded 2 points, would have given him the win. They put the 2 points on the board. Then another official came in and they discussed it, and they took the 2 points off the board, which made it go into overtime. He thought he'd won it. His coach thought he'd won it. Fans thought he'd won it. And they're still not sure why he didn't win it. I wasn't there to see it. I'm just going by what I was told. That happens in every sport, unfortunately. But nevertheless, it's still an incredible accomplishment by Dante Maker. Congratulations to him. People should be getting excited about this wrestling program in El Dorado. They have a chance to be really good. The key for that is getting a coach, getting stability in the coaching situation. If they could get a coach there who really wants the job and knows what he's doing, he'll stay there for a while. El Dorado will be really good. It will be a powerhouse in wrestling. Boys or girls, boys and girls. Write it down. Also, locally, the regional tournament starts next week. For the smaller schools, Junction City boys, Parker Chapel's girls will both be competing on Thursday for the right to earn a berth in the 2A state tournament, which will be held at Junction City. Big deal Thursday. The regional tournament will be in Dirks. Junction's boys are the 1 seed, so they should have a leg up in that. They have a really good shot. Parker Chapel's girls will be going as a 3 seed. They lost in the semifinals last week, came back and beat Gurdon in the 3rd place game. It's very, very important to get the 3 seed instead of the 4 seed. The 4 seed, you'd be facing a district champion. So good luck to them, especially for me, because I'm supposed to be covering the 2A state tournament, and I don't really want to waste a whole lot of time covering it if I don't have anybody local in it. I'm not interested in going down and watching Buffalo Island versus Clarendon or somebody. So please, local teams, do me a favor, give me somebody to cover. Go Lady Trojans, go Dragons, win. uh, and before I go, I've really been into the NCAA basketball this season, not the men, the women. And so my top 5 list this week will be the top 5 teams heading into the NCAA tournament for the women. Top 5. And rather than going the usual way, go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This time let's go from 1 to 5 because the drama is at the 5 spot for me. Number 1, the favorite is South Carolina. South Kakalaki, coached by Don Staley. The Gamecocks are loaded. They have size, the dominant post player in the country. They have guards. They have everything. I think South Carolina will be a solid favorite. They've already beaten Stanford, which, by the way, is my number 2 team, Stanford. Cardinal, the defending champion. Stanford's pretty loaded, too. I love Stanford's post players. They have a variety. They have a quick post. They have a big athletic post. And they have a post who shoots threes. And they'll use all of them. And they have guards and they have shooters. And they don't have a true point guard. If you can pressure them, that's the separation between Stanford and South Carolina. Number 3, if you've been following women's basketball this season, you might be surprised. Number 3 is UConn. And I know what you're saying. UConn, haven't they been struggling this season? Yes, they have. They've been hurt by injuries. Paige Beckers, the player of the year, has missed most of the season. I watched them one game. They were down to 6 players. And I watched them beat a top 25 team with 6 players. And the thing is, they're starting to play really well with those injured players, and now some of those injured players are coming back. They got 2 back last week. Paige Beckers is expected to be back before the tournament. And once they get everybody back, UConn will be a team to be reckoned with. And I'm not thrilled about it. I hate UConn. Number 4, another surprising team, maybe a surprise. Maryland. I picked Maryland last year, and then they got into the NCAA tournament, and they absolutely imploded against Texas. They should have been in the Final Four last year. And this team has talent. They've also been hit with some injuries. A couple of their key injuries won't be bad. I know one girl tore ACL. But they have so much talent. They have athletic fours. They've got shooters. They do have a good guard. They've had a couple of losses this year, but I think Maryland. I think this is the year they're going to play in the tournament the way they played in the regular season, and so that's my number 4. The number 5 team. Let's discuss this because my number 5 is a little different. The usual suspects for that next spot would be Arizona, which made it to the national championship game last year. Louisville, perennially a top Final Four considerate, and North Carolina State of the ACC. Don't like NC State. Never have. I think they're a little overrated. Their post player is really good. I think she's overrated. I think she's soft. And once they get to the tournament, I just don't think they have enough. They're a regular season team. Louisville. Like their guards, I just don't think they have enough. Same with Arizona. Arizona's best player graduated last year. I don't think they replaced her. I just don't think Arizona is as good as they were last year. And I think a lot of their success last year, they just got hot at the right time also. Other teams you would consider would be in either Big Ten. Indiana, very good. Michigan, very good. I just don't think they have enough. People think Tennessee is good. I don't. I've seen Tennessee a couple of times. I don't see. I mean, they got ranked as, I want to say, in the 4th or 5th in the country, and I'm just looking at the ranking, going, really? I don't see it. I know they've got a couple of losses later in the season, which is kind of proving my point. They're falling back to where they belong. I don't think Tennessee will be a factor. And so, who's left? A team that I actually do like. I'm talking about teams I don't like. I like Georgia Tech a lot. Their defense is really good. I love the way them play defense, which is saying something for me because I don't really care for defense. Unfortunately, they don't have the offense. They don't have a point guard anywhere on campus. And the point guard position is vitally important in the tournament, and I think that's what's going to kill Georgia Tech. That being said, same state, my number 5 team will be Georgia. Yes, Georgia, a little bit of a underdog, I think. They've had some losses, but they have a dominant post player. When she's not in foul trouble, they're very good. When she's in foul trouble, they're very mediocre. They have good guards. They have athletic guards. They have a shooter with the post. I like Georgia. I think they're going to get hot at the right time. I wouldn't be surprised if Georgia makes a run in the tournament. As far as the smaller schools, the teams, if you're looking for upsets in your bracket, Byu Brigham Young. I like their team, mid-major team. I think there's something like 20-something and 2. They've got guards that I love. Their guards. They got a 6'7" post who's but she's 6'7". But I could see BYU upsetting a couple of teams. Don't be surprised if BYU makes a run, Sweet 16, maybe even the Elite 8. I think the top 5 or 6 teams in the country, I just don't think BYU can handle them. They don't have enough size or depth. But BYU, I like their team, and they could make a run. They could be a small school. When you get your brackets out, if you want to pull some upsets, look find where BYU is in the bracket. But this has been a really fun women's basketball season. If you guys don't watch women's basketball, if you like basketball but you don't watch the women's game, you're missing out. It's old school basketball. There are so many dominant post players in the women's game. They play it the right way. They go inside out. I know NC State has a dominant post. Virginia Tech has a dominant post. South Carolina has a dominant post. Stanford has a dominant post. Indiana has a dominant post. Nebraska has a dominant post. Michigan has a dominant post. And they all, they pound it inside and then they kick the ball out to shooters. And it's basketball the way it was meant to be played. The women's game is what it's all about. That's all the time I'm going to take up today. That's my top 5. Congratulations again to Dante Maker, state runner-up in wrestling. Good luck next week to Junction City Parker's Chapel. El Dorado's girls, by the way, are 1 win away from qualifying for the 5A. They don't have a regional tournament, but I look for El Dorado to get their win next week. They have Sheridan, Texarkana. I looked at the bracket or the records, and I don't see how they're number 3. 4 teams make it. The coach says there's still a chance they could not make it. I think they're in, but good luck to El Dorado's girls also. And let's call it a day for that. I want to thank you guys for listening. Look forward to talking to you again next week. As you were.